Hey YouTubers, Huey Lewis here. Welcome to another episode of Huey's Anime Movie Reviews. Now today is a very special review. Why? Well, if you notice the Christmas tree right here, that means it is Christmas time. The most wonderful time of the year. And my favorite holiday of all time. Now, when you hear the word Christmas, what usually comes to mind? Santa Claus, presents, Christmas carols? Well, to me, when I hear the word, I only think of one thing. Nutcrackers. Like this guy right here. Cute, isn't he? And of course, I also talk about the famous ballet.
Ah yes, the Nutcracker Ballet, one of the most famous ballets in the world. Based on the original book by E.T.A. Hoffmann, and with music by the great composer Peter Tchaikovsky, it is truly endeared as a holiday classic.
Now I bet you're asking yourself, why am I talking about Nutcrackers? Well, in the early 90s, an animated feature film based on the original ballet and the book the ballet was based off was released by Warner Brothers. And that is the subject of my review today.
Released by Warner Brothers on November 21st, 1990, the movie is called The Nutcracker Prince. The movie begins with our main character, Clara. Her family is celebrating the night before Christmas Eve, but she's jealous because her sister Louise has a boyfriend, leaving Clara feeling blue until the eccentric Uncle Drosselmeyer arrives at their home with special gifts, a fully automated toy castle for everyone, and a nutcracker for Clara. Upon giving her the nutcracker, Drosselmeyer tells her a story on how the nutcracker came to become the Prince of the Dolls. In a faraway kingdom, there was a king and queen who had a beautiful daughter named Princess Pirlipat. Now, their kingdom had a little bit of a mouse problem, so the king commanded his inventor, whose name is also Drosselmeyer, to capture all the mice. Drosselmeyer and his nephew Hans were successful in capturing all the mice, except for the Mouse Queen and her only son.
How dare they? They won't get away with this.
Oh, if you hadn't noticed by now, the Mouse Queen is voiced by Phyllis Diller. In revenge, the Mouse Queen casts a spell on Pirlipat, causing her to become hideously ugly. Ugh. Drosselmeyer was once again given the task of figuring out how to cure her. He eventually learned that there was only one thing that could.
The crack-a-tooth nut.
But on one condition.
It must be cracked for the princess by a young man who has never worn boots. And he must hand it to her with his eyes closed, then take 7 steps backwards, without stumbling.
The king commands all the princes and noblemen to apply, on the promise of the reward of being able to marry Pirlipat once she is cured. However... Finally, Hans steps in and manages to crack the nut open between his teeth and gives it to Pirlipat, breaking the spell. The Mouse Queen is angered by all this and puts a curse on Hans. During the ruckus, the Mouse Queen's son's tail is caught from the falling statue and it becomes bent. Also, the Mouse Queen is crushed by a statue, but who cares? Thus leaving her son to become the Mouse King.
He'll pay for this, 'cause I'm the Mouse King, me! And I'm gonna build a mighty army and no one shall stop me! No one! And if you think your beloved nephew Hans is ugly now, wait till I turn him into a pile of splinters!
Clara is upset by the story for its unhappy ending, but is consoled when Drosselmeyer tells her that the spell can be broken. That night, when everyone else has gone to sleep, Clara ventures into the sitting room to look at her nutcracker. Suddenly, the Mouse King arrives with his followers intent on getting his revenge on the Nutcracker for his injured tail.
Whoa, wait a minute. The Mouse King? You mean the ridiculous looking character we saw in the flashback? Oh, come on. How scary can he be? I mean, he was so ridiculous looking in the flashback. How threatening can he be in real life?
The Nutcracker and all the dolls in the room come to life to battle the Mouse King's army, including the dolls Marie, Trudy, and Pantaloon, voiced by Peter O'Toole.
If not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell.
The first battle is briefly stopped when Clara throws her slipper to the Mouse King before he can hurt the Nutcracker, though she herself gets injured. The next morning she tries to tell her mother about the battle, only to be told to rest and not to tell fairy stories. The next night the Mouse King returns, angry on what Clara did. But just as the Mouse King confronts her, the toys awaken once again. The Nutcracker and the Mouse King then battle one another one-on-one. The Mouse King is supposedly defeated when he is stabbed in the chest and falls from the Christmas tree. When the toys see that Pantaloon has been injured in the fight, they have to return to the land of the dolls to revive him. Clara is then shrunken down to doll size thanks to Drosselmeyer's magic. Clara follows the toys to the land of the dolls, which is in Drosselmeyer's toy castle. Once they are there, Clara dances with the Nutcracker, in which is the most beautiful segment in the entire film. The Nutcracker then asks Clara to stay with him, but she heavy-heartedly refuses.
But I want to grow up. There are a million things I want to do.
As the dolls start to turn back into inanimate toys, a dying Mouse King arrives for one last chance at revenge. Clara manages to keep him at bay, and he eventually falls off the toy castle to the river below. Clara wakes up to find herself back home, and there is no sign of the events that she has experienced, save for her brother's statement that the family discovered a dead mouse near the castle. She then rushes to Uncle Drosselmeyer's workshop and begs him to tell her whether the fairy tale he told her is true. Clara is then suddenly silenced when a young boy enters the room carrying a clock. And he looks oddly familiar.
Hello, Clara.
Hello, Nutcracker.
Now, I have to admit, the movie didn't do so well in theaters, but to this day, it has gained a cult following, and I believe it is one of the greatest Christmas films ever made and one of the closest adaptations to the original book, but mixing it very well with Peter Tchaikovsky's ballet.
In the end, the animation is beautiful, the characters are charming, and the story is heartwarming. I give it 4.5 stars out of 5.
Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me on my next review. See you at the movies. Anime movies, that is. Oh, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.